Hello, thank you everyone for coming. Let me share my screen for a moment. So we're going to be talking about emotional literacy and Moody Moody Cars, which is my new book from Magination Press. Before I begin, I want to say a heartfelt and personal thank you to school librarians. I have a very specific memory of when I was in first grade and I realized that I could read anything, which meant that I could know anything. And it was thrilling. I have a very vivid memory of the thrill of realizing that. As I got older in upper elementary school and in middle school, my school librarian was a very important person in my life. I was a voracious reader, and she seemed to have an unlimited number of answers when I went to her and said, what should I read next? So it was really, she mattered a lot, and the work that you do matters a lot. So thank you very much. Of course, now school libraries aren't just libraries, they're media centers. But the mission is still the same, to help kids to discover the world beyond their own immediate experience. I still love books. You know, I use my computer, I need my computer, but I still love books. I love the smell of books. I've written 10 books, and there's just something magical about kids being able to hold that book and to discover what's inside. Today, I want to talk about emotional literacy, which is the ability to read emotions in ourselves and others. We know from research that children who are better at recognizing emotions are better liked by their peers, are less likely to act out aggressively, and they do better in school. The ability to interpret facial emotions at age 5, according to one study, predicts how well kids do socially and academically even 4 years later. Now we can think of different directions of causality there, but that's pretty impressive. We also know that talking about feelings can increase children's understanding of emotions. And when kids understand emotions better, they are better equipped to cope with their own feelings and to create better friendships. So this is a foundational skill. I think about being able to read emotions as like having a GPS for life, because understanding those emotions helps kids to know, for example, that sister is annoyed, or dad sees danger, or a friend is open to playing together. We can teach children about emotions through books. That's a great way to do it. Of course, fiction is wonderful because it offers children an observer's perspective on someone else's thoughts and feelings. In psychology, we talk about the idea of theory of mind. And this starts about age 4, when kids recognize that other people can have thoughts and feelings that are different than their own. And this really opens up the world for them. But we can also teach very explicitly about emotions. And this can be useful as well. So that's exactly what we're doing in Moody Moody Cars. But, and I say this as a child psychologist, we can't be preachy and boring about it. It's got to be fun, or we're not going to engage children. So that's why Moody Moody Cars has this rollicking rhyme to it, and it goes, freewheeling, full of feelings, traveling near and far. Honk if you see me, I'm a Moody Moody car. So it's a lot of fun to read aloud to groups of kids, or even for children to memorize themselves. And I'm just going to give you a couple of screenshots of the of the inside of the book. So this is one of my favorites. This is the angry car, and it says, beep, beep, went a car with eyebrows pulled down. Hurry up, running late, see my traffic jam frown. I'm mad and angry and frustrated too. Slow moving people need to let me get through. This one is the sad car. And it says, "I'm sad," said a car with tears on its cheeks. "There's a sign where I park saying closed for 3 weeks. I was counting on relaxing in my favorite spot. I'm so disappointed. I don't want another lot." So these beautiful photos are by Michael Furman. And he is a noted car photographer, and I think they're just gorgeous. At the end of the book, there's also a key, and the pun is intentional, where we can offer kids a little bit of help in seeing the feelings on the faces of the cars. And it also tells children the names of the different cars. So, because we get some kids who are just car lovers and they enjoy learning the names of the cars just the way they love learning the names of dinosaurs. So Moody Moody Cars is intended for children ages 4 to 8. They have to be about 4 to understand the idea that these cars look like they have feelings, but they don't actually have feelings, to be able to hold those two ideas in their heads at the same time. And that's where the humor of the book comes from, is that contradiction. I wanted to tell you about an educator guide that we created for Moody Moody Cars. I worked with a team of educators to create this beautiful educator guide, and it's full of a lot of activities that you can use if you have a classroom of kids, or even if you have a kid at a home of your own that you'd like to use it for. So this is the website where you can get the educator guide for free, and it's quite elaborate and quite meaningful. So there's no like word searches, which are kind of pointless. These are really activities that kids will enjoy and that educators will enjoy doing. So you can also share it with your teachers in your school. One of the activities is an emotional scavenger hunt. So pareidolia is the idea, our human tendency to see faces in things. So this would be an activity to just look around, either on photos on the internet or just in your own home, or even in the library, for things that look like they have feelings, but they don't. They're just inanimate objects, and that can be a lot of fun. Some other activities that we feature in the guide are feeling families. So I offer a whole bunch of emotion words. I think there are 16 or 20 words, and we have kids sort them into different feeling families. So this is really interesting for kids to see the connection between different words. And then we can talk about, well, why do we have different words for similar feelings? And the answer, of course, is nuance. To be able to capture the subtlety and the differences in our feelings. Why do we want to do that? To be able to communicate clearly. Emotions and the arts are also a really wonderful way to talk about feelings. And this is also a way to bring in diversity and different cultures. I work in Princeton, which is extremely diverse. And that's one of the perks of my job, is that I have a very international clientele. So it's so fun to see people with different perspectives and different experiences. Another activity in the guide is making faces. So we have different faces from like as if they were emojis, and the kids can put it together and experiment a little bit, a hands-on way of experimenting with different faces to see what they can create and what it communicates. So what's important to understand about children's emotions and their understanding of them is that this develops very gradually. 2-year-olds, if you ask them to sort feelings, they're very good at distinguishing happy and not happy, but they really aren't so good at seeing the different kinds of not happy. They tend to assume everything's angry. By the time kids are 3, they're pretty good at recognizing sad faces. At 4, they're more accurate at recognizing angry faces. But it takes even longer, closer to 5, before they can recognize those more subtle feelings like fear and disgust, and surprise. So that takes a while, but they're not done then at 5. So up until age 10, kids become faster and more accurate at rating emotions. And they also become better at noticing the milder feelings and figuring out what those are. It's not until age 14 that kids really have an adult level of understanding of emotions. So we really can help kids to do a lot in terms of understanding feelings. It's hard to see what we can't name. So the foundational skill is having a vocabulary for feelings. The foundation for empathy is also to be able to understand our own feelings. And that's what we use to imagine what somebody else might be feeling. So we bring it all together, the vocabulary, the recognition and awareness of different expressions of emotions, the empathy to be able to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. And that is what fuels the development of children's friendships, from the very early love the one you're with friendships of the toddler years to the more intimate and lasting friendships of the teen years. We can support this process. Within families, parents can just talk about emotions as they come up in daily life experience. From the parents, they can say, oh, I'm really frustrated because this, or I'm really excited because that. We can talk about it when the children experience the emotions. You're feeling nervous about this because you don't know what to expect. We can talk about it in books or in movies. Just giving kids experience and imagining what's going through somebody else's mind. What is their inner life like? We're giving them a glimpse of that, and that will help them with their relationships and with their own self-regulation as well. We can talk about feelings explicitly also through books like Moody Moody Cars that lay out the emotions in a very fun and entertaining way. And I think that if I have convinced everybody in the world that cars really do have feelings, I've done good in the world. I think this is something that we all need to discover and to enjoy. The book is based on a game that I used to play with my kids when we were just out and about, walking or driving, and we would say, oh, that car looks grumpy, or that car looks surprised. So it's a fun thing, just an added dimension to being out and about, with an underlying message about emotional literacy. So let me share again, this is my website. If you have any questions for me, you are welcome to email me at ekm@eileenkennedymore.com. That again is the website for the teacher guide, which you're welcome to download, you're welcome to share. And it has lots and lots of ideas about how you can use Moody Moody Cars to support emotional literacy among your students.